All right, some of you might have already started working ahead, but I'm going to take for granted that you haven't. So we can close this table now, the city-state zip table. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to come over again on the right here under tables, and I'm again going to right mouse click on that and again choose add new table. All right, this one is going to be a little bit more complex. The fields are all shown on the handout that I gave you. All right. And actually, this is the one we're going to use, I guess, right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fields. But when we get all done with those 10 fields, we're not finished. But I'm going to start putting these in. So I'm going to keep it ID. As we've done, I'm going to go down to identity specification, change it from false to true. This one, if you look up on the screen here, this one we're going to change the seed. So instead of being 1, we're going to change that to 1001. So our first employee is 1001. All right? And that should be the only thing we have to change then on that first one. I'm just going to keep putting in the rest of them. So EMP SSN for Social Security number. That'll be an NCHAR of size 11. So that's going to expect the dashes in there. And again, we are not going to allow for any nulls. EMP first name. And then varchar of size 20. And not allow for nulls. Then EMP MI. This is the one that's different. This is the NCHAR of size 1. And this one does allow nulls. Remember, for Colin and for Evan, I did not put a middle initial in for them. So that one you can leave checked. Then we've got the EMP last name, which again is an NVarchar, and again is size 20. No nulls. EMP address, NVarchar of size 30. No nulls. EMP zip. EMP department number. Notice in here, this is just going to be an int, so we don't worry about sizes with those. But in the next field, if you look up on the screen here, notice I'm going to put in the salary. Notice there it does allow the numbers. We want that to be an 8, 2. And then finally the hire date, which will be of type date. All right. So that's how I believe I have not made any mistakes. Oh, I guess I didn't change that. Yeah, mine is wrong on the handout. That should say decimal 8, 2, not 18, column 0. I did the screenshot too early. We're not done though. All right, everybody hear that? We're not finished. There's one more thing we're going to do before we're finished. Give you a minute to catch back up. Again, there are other ways of doing this. I'm trying to show you what I consider to be the most straightforward, intuitive way of doing this. And we got 3 weeks, and I could give you 12 weeks of stuff in here. We don't have time for that. There are, I talked to Charles, including today, there are exactly 20 days left in the semester. 2 days this week, 5 the next 3 weeks, and 3 the week after that. Then we're done. I've got everything up to date on your grades except 2 of you have already turned in the first worksheet. I have not graded those. I like to grade them when basically everybody's got them turned in. Again, make sure that you leave the check for the middle initial because we are going to leave a couple of those blank. If you're cool with everything and it all looks okay, then please look up on the screen. One thing that we want to do here, notice this is pretty big because this is all the code that's been created for us. All right, so if I keep dragging this up, it'll take up just about the whole screen. All right. The first thing I want to do is I want to come up here and I want to change this again from table to employees. All right, that's the first thing. So change that from table to employees. Second, notice it's telling us it's starting at 1001 and it's going by 1. Previously, it just said identity 1, which means start at 1 and continue by 1. All right. Now, it was, it actually was one of those things where I screwed up in a good way, and I'm glad that we did this so you got a chance to see with the identity specification in here how you can set it to something other than 1. All right? And it is possible, this number 2, this is what you go up by. If for some reason you wanted every person's, so you wanted the first employee to be 1,000, the next one to be 1,010, or 1,000, you wanted to go up by 100 or by 10 or whatever, you can change that number. We don't have a reason to do that. But there might be, depending on what you're doing, a reason to do that. All right? All right, so the rest of the stuff, hopefully, that's in here is pretty self-explanatory. Okay? So take a look at that, and if there is anything in there that doesn't make sense, let me know. Notice again with middle initial, instead of not null, it says null. Those are all things. Now, just so you know, if you want to, you can actually, you don't even have to use that GUI tool I just showed you. You could have typed everything in down here. I like to do it better with the GUI tool, but if you don't like doing that, if you just as soon just type everything, you can do that as well. And if I came in here, for instance, I'm not going to do this, but if I change this from a 1 to a 2, let's say, it would automatically then, once I did that, it would automatically change it up above also. So if I changed it, it would change it up here. If I changed it down here from 1 to 2, it would change it here as well. All right? Now there's one more thing we want to do, and that is I want to be able to link the department number field that we have in the departments table to the emp department number field we have in this table. That makes sense? And how am I going to do that? We brought this field in here because it's a primary key. All right, well, if you look on the side here, everybody look up here, see where it says foreign key? I'm going to double click where it says foreign key. And what you should notice, come on, work for me, please. All right. Sorry, forget the double click. Right mouse click on it, choose add new foreign key. All right. Then I can take that and drag it down to the bottom here. It gave me a brand new. Yeah, you should be able to. There's a lot of ways you can do this. All right. It doesn't matter which one of these you click on. Yeah, I don't know, probably. Now, this is a little different from what we've seen before. So if you look up on the screen here, okay, I got that error now. Don't worry about it. It says FK employees to table. Well, I don't want to table there. It's between the employees and the departments table. Okay, now the thing is, this is going to set up a foreign key between the employees table and the departments table. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to add something else to it. It is possible I might have more than one foreign key between this table and another table. So I'm going to also put in here underscore department number. So that's the whole thing. F key for foreign key, underscore employees, that's our from, underscore departments, that's our 2 underscore field name. Okay? And then it says, okay, what do we want to do next? It's going to be a foreign key, so it asks for the column. You want to keep the parens, but remove everything else. So what field is it? It's the department name, or I'm sorry, number field. All right? And I think you can hit enter here. I don't think it would care if I did this over multiple lines. So references the to table. Well, it's going to be the departments table. And the to column is going to be department number. And I don't believe I need any of this stuff. Key. Oh, it should be emp dep number, I'm sorry. So, if you've got errors, you're going to get the squigglies underneath it. I just did. I called this department number. It should have been emp dep number. No. The question was about capitalization. It shouldn't matter. Remember when we were, I'm not going to go back and do this, but remember when we first got into MySQL and we did a show databases and you had that information schema database that was in there? That's the kind of database that this stuff gets put into. So it doesn't matter if you use capitals or non-capitals in here. All right? So the constraint is going to be called this. It is called FK for foreign key employees, which is the first table, underscore departments, which is the second table, underscore department number, which is the name of the field. And it's a foreign key, so the foreign key is this field, and this field references this table and that field in that table. Notice they don't have to be the same name. They do have to either be the same type or that they map to the same type. There's different numeric types that would work if you're going to use number types. Now, the good news is I have no squiggly lines here. That's good news. So I should be able to come up here as we did before and click Update. And it's telling me everything. Notice it gives me some warnings. And it does, you know, what you mentioned, Colin, it talks about the case here. But it doesn't matter. It is case insensitive. So I'm going to click Update Database again. All right, now I should be able to close this. Come back over to here if you look up on your screen. And again, click the refresh button in the upper left-hand corner that looks like a kind of a crazy arrow. And now I should have my third table in there. Now when I right mouse click and I choose Show Table Data, I can now go in and start putting in my table data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the first record, then I'm going to pause this, because there's no sense in watching me type, because I'm going to screw stuff up anyway. So I'm going to start typing in the first record, I'm going to get done, I'm going to pause it, I'm going to put in the rest of the records. That's where I wanted us to get to today. All right? So even if you're a slow typist, hopefully by 10 o'clock, because you've got 34 minutes, you can type in these 12 records. And please look up on the screen, I guess I forgot to tell you. Notice, watch what happens. I'm going to put in 1990-01-05. Everybody see that? Watch what happens as soon as I tab off. You see, I can't see it. You see how it changed the format? Because internally or externally, SQL Server shows dates different than the way MySQL does. But it allows you to put stuff in exactly like I have it here. All right, I think you can put it in either way. I think if I would have wanted that to say 1 with a /5 with a /1990, that would have worked fine also. So right now I'm gonna pause the tape and I'm gonna put in the other 11 records. All right, and I'm gonna do that, and then at about 9:45 or so, verified that indeed everything worked, and that's it for today. All right. Okay, I put in all of my record information. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to right mouse click and choose Show Table Data. As far as I can tell, because I tried checking every field, as far as I can tell, everything that's in there is correct. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything that I've done, I'm going to take my folder, and I'm going to copy it to that flash drive. All right, and I'm going to pass it around. If you had any problems, or if you're thinking, I don't know what the heck the problem is, you can copy mine. All right, if you want to do that, you don't have to. All right, but that's where I'm going to pick it up tomorrow then. So on this drive here, there's a folder called Acme Test 2. All right. Anybody else want a copy of it besides Dominic? Okay, that's fine. Because you should be able to copy it directly because you've got Acme Test. I call mine Acme Test 2. So if you want to look at them, the problem is the only way that you can look at those files, they're not text files. The .mdf is you have to be in Visual Studio. So the only way you could check that would be to bring up two versions of Visual Studio. Have your project in one and my project in the other and just go manually eyeball. But I mean, I believe you, and it's a weird thing to happen. Why it happened, I don't know. How it happened, I don't know. No. But what we're going to end up doing, the IP number is not important, but what's going to be important is going to be like the department number, because we eventually want to set up that you'll be able to drop down and grab a department number, and then in a data view, you want to be able to show all the people who just work in that department. It doesn't, no, we're gonna have a drop-down list. So if you choose one, or information technology, then it's gonna show the people who work in information technology. That's database protocol.
die, and every time you start it, sometimes it doesn't reset back to the supposed to be, so that's why it's taking on this. So it just like tries to put it away from it. That's why it's taking.
I didn't know that. Again, if that really bugs you that much, the other thing that you can do about it is to go back and set it at 1 instead of setting it at 1,000.
Right.
You know, you want to do that. Anybody else want it? All right. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, this handout that I gave you, and then I'm gonna print out a copy for everybody, so at least you'll have the steps, and for Valerie, for her not being here today, she can try to follow those. And now that Tiffany's an expert, I'm sure she'll give her some help. There you go.
So we hit save all.